You said you had your fun. What does that mean?
Oh, I was promiscuous. I mean, like, I had...
Can you give us...
Do you want a body count?
Body count, sure. Let's do body count.
50 men and then about 10 women.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, we talk about women being a little bit too promiscuous and going out there and letting too many men into the Garden of Eden, so to speak, and this is damaging them and damaging relationships and causing real problems in the dating market today. So I decided to do a little poll and look on a little research and find some information on this. And one thing I fully believe is while it is usually these women that are willing to go out there and delete their own kids, well, babies as it were, in your utero, and they're willing to date anything and sleep with way too many things that just barely move and only are chasing after the hot guys. I think that's where we've gotten into this hyper selectivity that we are today. So we're going to talk about this for a few minutes. Also, if you would, down below, please let me know if you like the little inserts and clips I'm putting in before I do the main video. I put this in there just, most of the time it'll have a little something to do relating to what I'm talking about and the craziness. Let me know if you like that stuff or if you just find it distracting and annoying. And another reminder, I interviewed Coach Red Pill, Gonzalo Lira. He's in Ukraine. He's been over there. He has some thoughts on everything that's going on. And we had about an hour and a half, about 90-minute conversation. I did not upload that to YouTube because we talked about topics that YouTube doesn't want us talking about. So you can find that over on Rumble, or you can join us today at betterbachelor.locals.com for that content. So if you want to follow me at Twitter, I'm at Bachelor Joker, and I took this poll. And granted, I do have a large sampling of men that follow me, but when I've announced that I'm over there, I only got about 1,000 followers from, my channel over here and things like that. A lot of the follows are coming from, just me and my Twitter posts. So there are a good number of representation of women that are following me on Twitter. You can see here I posted this. What needs to happen to stop the promiscuity and relationship problems in current culture? If you think it's both, don't vote. Just comment below as to why you think it's both. Please retweet for a larger sample size as well. And I ended up getting 1,150 votes. Not great considering I have, 5,000, 6,000 followers, but it's a decent sample size. And it starts with, I'm a blank, and I think it's blank fault that we're in kind of having the dating relationship promiscuity problems of today. Now, 73% of them said, I'm a man, and I think it's women's fault. That's understandable. However, quite a large sample of women said, I'm a woman, and I think it's women's fault. Almost 10%, 8.9% agreed. And then a decent chunk of men said, I'm a man, and I think it's men's fault, which was interesting. But here's the one that's the most interesting. I'm a woman, and I think it's men's fault is only 1.1%. Now, again, probably the women that follow me are, a little bit more conservative or true liberal. They're certainly not left, because I'm sure they would probably blame it on all the men going around and sleeping with the women, even if it's only a small percentage. But after reading this, and yes, there are a lot of replies to it. I won't read a lot of them, but a lot of it is, hey, if the guys stop treating these women, like goddesses and stop simping for them and stop buying lonely, fan sites and things like that and stop giving them money and attention, it would go away. I agree with that. But it's also one of those things where if somebody's going to leave a bag full of money out on the sidewalk and someone takes it, do you blame the person that takes it, or do you blame the person that leaves the money out unguarded just sitting on a sidewalk? Now, you can say, again, it's both people's fault. I agree with that. But when you make something very enticing and very available, even people that wouldn't normally take advantage of that, i.e. men or successful men or guys that happen to be tall or good looking or good with the ladies or whatever, if you throw it at them, they're probably going to catch it and use it and then throw it away. But the truth is, we're not going to be able to stop the promiscuity. We're not going to be able to convince women to do this. Now, other women could be able to convince other women to stop doing this by shaming them and making fun of them. But the truth of it is that's not really going to happen because women are not very good at speaking out and sticking their necks out a little bit to go against the culture, the grain. As a matter of fact, I've got let me grab this video over here. I'm going to toss this in. I'm not going to play it. It's Mia Khalifa.
I get come up to by the.
It's Mia Khalifa. I'm not going to play that over here on YouTube or Rumble. I'm gonna play that exclusively for the Locals crew. So follow me over there if you want to see it. But I do want to snap it up here so I don't forget. So from Pew Research in 2020, has a doctor or healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? Percent saying yes. Of conservative women, about 20%, and as they age, it drops drastically, down below probably around 6 or 7%. For men, it's 15% of conservative men, dropping down to about the same, 5% of men as they age. As you get older, you get more conservative, you get more, less agitated, and you kind of learn the lessons of life. When speaking with moderates, 30% of women, 18 to 49, starting at 28, spiking up to a little above 30%, have been told they are, with men starting much lower, at about 19, 18%, and dropping off. And then when you look at liberals, which is what most women are today, again, you can look at statistically, if voting only occurred with women, 48 out of the 50 states in the United States would be Democrat. So women are very, very left-leaning. Look at that percentage. The men that are left-leaning are closer to what the women are in the moderate. And, of course, women are way better off than the men that are in the liberals. Now, again, this is from a Pew Research just conducted a couple of years ago. But if you look at the men start at 30% and drop off as they go over time. Women are starting off at 55, 56% of liberal women have been told that you have a mental health condition. That's not good. And what this does tell you, however, is that it has nothing to do with women or men. It has to do with how you view the world. I wouldn't say so much liberal women are crazy. I would say crazy women more likely become liberal because they need that social bond with other people. They need that community to reaffirm that they're on the right track and they're a good person and they're a smart person and they're stunning and brave and all the other things. So I might say that the people that are a little bit unstable tend to drift to the left instead of the left making people unstable. Now, you can say what you want to about that. That's my take on it. But I want to talk about this because if we're going to fix the world, guys, if we're going to stop the craziness, we're going to have to be the ones to clean our acts up. Now, I know a lot of you guys on this channel are either A, not successful with women, just because you're not, whether you're short, whether you're unattractive, whether you're uncomfortable around women, or you don't like social situations, so you tend to be alone. That's certainly acceptable, and it's fine. That may be part of the reason, though, why you're not successful with women. Maybe you've been burned and just decided, you know what, the juice isn't worth the squeeze anymore. Or maybe that you're guys out there that are like, hey, I've done my playing, I've had my fun. And I just find that I've got better things I want to do with my life now because I lived a life of gluttony. I got to enjoy as many women as I wanted to, and I've had enough, or again, they've become a little bit crazy to deal with. But most of you guys that are watching this channel, we're in the 90%ers, which means we're not that top 5 or 10%. Matter of fact, let me grab this video here. I got two. I will play these for you guys after.
Ask the ladies to rate themselves.
I think they autoplay. They autoplay when I drop them in there, so I'll stop it. So, okay, I got a couple of videos that will. One of them I may have loaded into the beginning of this video. Women will not step out of their boundary of comfort, and they're not going to push back against what all the other women are saying. At least the vast majority of them will not. So it's going to have to be men that say, no more of this. That's it. We're done with this stuff. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be the guys that are having access to all the women. They're the ones that are going to have to say, you know what, we've got to become more conservative. We have to say no to, being thirsty online and going after these women and paying them money to show, all the holes where the sun don't shine. those guys are going to have to say no. And then the guys that are extremely successful with women, instead of going out and sleeping with 10, 50, 100 of them because they can, because they're extremely desirable, they're going to have to start telling women, no, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for somebody that's going to be a good partner. I don't care about your body count, nor do I want to add to it. I'm just going to walk away. Now, the odds of this happening are very slim. Let's be honest with it, especially if you're a young guy that is successful with women and you have, dozens, hundreds, whatever, of women chasing after you. It's very hard to say no, but we're going to have to, I think that's the only thing that's going to save us at this point. And this is from Healthline. What is rejection-sensitive dysphoria? They say it's a rejection-sensitive dysphoria occurs when you experience an intense or overwhelming emotional sensitivity to criticism or rejection. That's a heck of a lot of these women, isn't it, right now? Where if you say something on their social media, they blow up, they shame you, they block you, they go nuts. And the Mia Khalifa clip I'm going to play is very apropos to that, because she got shamed by another woman, and it shut her down big time. As a matter of fact, in the video clip, she tears up and gets ready to cry again. And so women are not good. And let's face it, a lot of these guys that are like male feminists, they're not good at it either. Because you try to have a conversation about any of these topics and they start screaming, they start yelling, they start trying to burn and break things, which if you look at like Berkeley and some of the other places where conservatives have gone to speak about a myriad of topics, they pull fire alarms, they protest, they riot, they break things, they destroy things because they don't want the conversation. They want you to shut up and just listen because they can't handle the rejection of their ideas or their lifestyle or the way they operate. And it's going to be up to the men with level heads to change this, to reel it in. Because at a certain point, we're going to get so crazy, it's just all going to fall apart. They say nobody likes rejection, whether it comes from a crush, peers, family, or a coworker. It can hurt, yet it is unavoidable. It is an unavoidable part of life. Some people can shake off rejection easily. For others, the feeling can trigger an overwhelming emotional response. Again, like many of the women that I'm talking about. In people especially overwhelmed, this is sometimes called rejection-sensitive dysphoria, or RSD. It's characterized by extreme emotional sensitivity to being criticized or rejected, whether real or perceived. So even if they're not really rejected, but they think they are, what could that mean? Less likes on a comment on social media, saying something that is relatively benign, but then being attacked for it or perceived to be attacked for it. And it might just be a differing opinion. I've gotten that a few times on Twitter. It sucks when you think you've gotten something wrong and everybody wants to yell at you, but in the same token, it's like, hey, if you've got conviction and that's your opinion, no amount of yelling is going to make you change it. But to a lot of these people, it will. It makes them say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me apologize and please accept me and take me back in." I mean, i.e., see most of Hollywood actors when they say anything relatively normal. They say this can affect anyone, though it has been suggested that people who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and autism are more susceptible. Well, what are the percentages on that now? I've read varying studies that suggest it's up to 60% of people now suffer from this. Gee, it's almost like that fits with a certain group of people. The very left-leaning women that we're talking about. And those are the same ones that are doing a lot of the OF. They're certainly not conservative. Maybe they're more moderate, but they're the ones that are doing the OnlyFriends content. They're the ones that are going out there and saying, I have such high levels of men that you must be these type of men, or you don't get a shot at me, and keep swiping, you misogynistic pig. Those are the same women, because they start throwing out the insults because they're setting up their defensive wall. So that if a guy says, well, yeah, but here's my question to you, oh, you're a pig. Shut up. I don't want to listen to you. It's a defensive type thing. They say because of this they say one possible explanation for RSD is a historic of rejection or negativity in life. This can come from having a parent who is overly critical or neglectful, which impacts how these individuals view themselves. Because of this parental relationship, some people have lower self-esteem and an intense fear of rejection and abandonment in their own relationships. If you're only growing up with a mom and you don't have a dad around, that right there is some sort of rejection. When the mother says your dad doesn't love you and so he left us, that's even if it's a lie, even if dad is very much wanting to be in the life, but mom legally cuts him out or something else, it's still to the child, it feels like a rejection. This is something I actually had to deal with a little bit when I was younger because I'm adopted. And when you hear you're adopted, it's like, oh, your family gave you away, when you're old enough to understand adoption and what it's all about. It's very good to know that somebody else chose you, but that my parents, my adoptive parents, chose me. But in the same token, you always do have that in the back of your head where you go, but I was still given away by my actual parents. Now, thank God for that, or I would have ended up on a doctor's floor somewhere. We're at 2023. They say other situations can cause sensitivity to rejection, for example, being teased or bullied by peers, or by being criticized or rejected by a romantic partner. Well, what happens if you go against the LDHD TV community and you're either part of it, or you want to belong to that community, and you say something that doesn't go along with the message? You get teased, bullied, you get yelled, rejected, criticized, and it's very cult-like behavior. And the person says, oh, no, please bring me back in. And what happens when you get rejected by a partner, a romantic partner? What these women are doing is they're sleeping with guys. They might be guys that they want to date. They're good-looking guys. They're top 10 percenters. And the guy says, and he ghosts and he moves on or whatever. That rejection hurts. But instead of stepping back and saying, hey, maybe I should look for a better partner, or maybe I should lower my standards a little bit to a guy that would actually date me and not just hit it and quit it, instead of doing that, the women are doubling down. They say it's also believed that some of the people are genetically predisposed to rejection-sensitive dysphoria. It can pass down through families. So if a parent or other close relative have RSD, you may have it too. And again, so a lot of these mothers, perhaps, or I don't know, crazy fathers, are passing it down as well. I'm not going to read down through the rest of this, but again, you can see RSD, deep sadness, social phobia, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of young people are suffering from this today. Low self-esteem, avoidance of social settings, fear of failure, high expectations for self, frequent emotional outbursts after being hurt or rejected. And when I read the comments on dating apps where a woman has said, I don't think we clicked, we don't make a good match, and the guy says, I agree. I was kind of feeling that the same way. And then the woman comes back going, how dare you? You should be lucky to have me. And it's like, dude, you said you didn't want me. I agree we're not a good match. Why are you yelling at me? I was nice at you. There's lots of women that are reacting like that on dating apps. Feelings of hopelessness, that's a lot in Gen Z today. Approval-seeking behavior, again, you got to stay on the good side of the cult. Anger and aggression in uncomfortable situations, we see that a lot. And anxiety. So I think a lot of young people are feeling this. These aren't going to be the young people that save the country. It's going to have to be older men, experienced men, men of conviction, men from a religion, whether that's Christianity or perhaps the Muslim, maybe Taoist or Buddhist, something with some stoicism involved with it. They're going to have to be the ones that solve this. And the only way you can do it is by teaching the next generation of men. Now, sometimes that means it comes in the form of Andrew Tate, who is, hyper one end, and other times it comes from men like Jordan Peterson that are at the other end that break down crying when they think about, the poor young men out there, or some flavor in between, hopefully someone like myself. We're going to have to be the ones that are not only just saying no to, the hookups. We're going to have to continue to talk down about the relationships, about guys that are simping for the OnlyFriends content, guys that are out there that are chasing after this stuff, the men that are, throwing away their own masculinity to get on the side of women, thinking that's going to get there somewhere. We're going to have to keep pushing back against it, and we're going to have to get louder and louder and louder. It doesn't mean we have to get meaner about it, but we do have to make sure that we're being heard so the next generation of young men that do want to find a more meaningful path through life, can find the content, can learn the lessons, can at least realize that they're not alone and they don't need to glam on to this craziness if they want to have a good life and a meaningful one. I'm going to play, this is from the podcast Whatever. They've really gotten a lot of views recently because they've been interviewing kind of crazy women. And also, I don't know why he has this as his co-host. It's kind of funny. But he's, I know with the other host of this is a very Christian man, and he's come out very openly and said, look, this is what I want for my future wife. He used to be a guy that slept around. Not this guy, but again, the co-host. He used to be a guy that slept around, and then he found religion. And he realized that he wasn't happy, and he changed his life path. But he made the mistakes, and then he corrected it. And that's somebody that, I've made the mistakes, and I've corrected it. I think that's the problem, is that people are making the mistakes, but they're not learning from them, or if they are, they're not sharing that experience. Anyway, here's an interview with some ladies.
Ask the ladies to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say I'm a 10.
10.
10. 10. 10.
Send the asteroid. Y'all are, come on, 10s.
Absolutely. What would you rate yourself, Brian?
6.5 on a good day. Hubris, delusional to rate yourself as a 10. So y'all are perfect.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, bruv, come on. If you guys are 10s, then there's no girl that's better looking than you.
I love all women.
Every girl is a 10.
I don't.
Every woman's a 10? Is every guy a 10?
No.
Absolutely not.
Hold on, whoa. Every woman's a 10, but not every guy's a 10.
Just because I love women.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to rate you guys, but none of you are a 10.
You just rated us.
No, I'm not going to
we're
give
not a
you,
10?
but none of you are 10s.
That's fine.
Yeah, we
That's
didn't
your
ask.
opinion.
The reason why I wanted to play this is because, yes, obviously they're full of crap. But here's the thing. Either one of two things is happening. Number one, they genuinely think they're 10s, which, again, shows you how out of touch of reality they are. Or they don't really feel that, but they're saying that because they can't accept that they're anything less than perfect. I mean, you look at this gal, right? She's way overweight. She's got ink all over the place. She's got green hair, and she's going to say she's a 10. Maybe to some guys, but that wasn't the question. She thinks she's a 10. This girl here with the fake lip injections, she's very much more girl next door, but again, none of these women are 10s. None of these women are. And here's, again, a girl that is very heavy set, and that's me being polite. But the way she sits there and smiles after she says a 10.
10.
Send the
Very arrogant, very proud, just nose up in the air, stunning and brave. And again, I'm nothing against, but I'm going to read this one as well. And this is them rating men.
What percentage of men do you find attractive?
Maybe 1%, maybe 0.5.
Maybe 5 to 10%.
15%.
Probably under 10.
10%. Top 10%.
Yeah.
So the same women that, now these are different women, but I mean the same type of women that he's interviewing. And I don't think he's going around to the clubs to get these women. Maybe he is, because I know that's where Fresh and Fit on their podcast get a lot of these women. These women are all saying what percentage of men are attractive, and they're saying one says 0.5 to 1%. I mean, let's be honest. But again, she's these women are not 10%ers themselves. They're not 20%ers. They're not 8s and 9s and 10s. These are average women. But they're delusional because there's guys that are 8s, 9s, and 10s that'll take a look at this. Or take a look at. Take a look. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the volume. There are guys that are 8s and 9s and 10s that look at these women and go, "Yeah, I'd smash. Yeah, smash. What the hell?" And there are guys that say, "Oh, she's only got a $3 OF. Only friends. Okay, I'll pay $3 for that because she talks to me and gives me the girlfriend experience." They hate you. They hate you. They're just admitting it right here. You have no chance because top 10% guys are not paying for that content. They just aren't. They got better things to do with their money and their time. So the only way that this changes is that, number one, these girls stop getting attention from everybody, from the thirsty simps online to the 8s, 9s, and 10s in real life. Now, maybe you're not 8, 9, and 10, but you can certainly stop chasing after them. Start making fun of them on social media when they show body pictures and you go, oof, you got to eat, or oof, you got to stop eating, or eat, anything to knock them off their pegs. To stop sleeping with them and say, I'm not looking for that high a body count. I'm not looking for that. I want a girl that's going to low body count, conservative ideals, other things like that. That's the only way. So it's going to have to be up to men. I think it's going to take a while for men to swing around, but I think there are more and more men that are coming out. At least maybe they're not traditionally conservative, which is, involving religion, but they have more and more conservative values. And that leaves us at where we are now, where, we're going to have to keep making fun of this stuff and talking about it and pushing back on it. And I think that's the beginning. And then hopefully as more people see that men in a larger group are pushing back against the craziness and pushing back against all this other stuff, we make them feel like the outsiders instead of the other way around. That's all I can say. Guys, if you're here on Rumble or on YouTube, make sure to join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, where I'm going to continue on with a little bit more content. I've got, let me see here. Let's see. I got a dating profile today. That's what we'll do that. And we'll do the Mia clip, here for you guys on Locals. So join me over there today.